Do you want to live in a world of self-delusion where you make decisions that hurt yourself and others? Have we got a plan for you? Step 1. Blindly accept any study that confirms your pre-existing views. Step 2. Reject any study that challenges what you already believe. Or you can watch and apply the new Analyzing Studies video series from Just Facts Academy to help you separate the credible studies from the trashy ones. We know that no one has the time to truly analyze every study they hear about. But for issues that are really important, you need to know how to sort through the junk studies that infest your media feeds. So, let's build on the standards of credibility and lift the curtain on studies. First and foremost, don't be fooled by trite propaganda masquerading as studies. Journalists, commentators, and so-called fact-checkers often treat the opinions of selected experts as if they were scientific studies. And politicians use the phrase "science says" like it magically turns mere claims into facts. Such misuse of the word science has been a long-standing problem. As the renowned physicist Richard Feynman remarked more than half a century ago, quote, "When someone says science teaches such and such, he is using the word incorrectly. When people discuss actual science, they don't say science has shown, but this experiment or this effect has shown." Another good way to be misled is to place too much trust in your own common sense. That's why Einstein defined common sense as a collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. Another trap to avoid is basing your views on personal anecdotes. People sometimes defy the odds, like your great uncle who lived to the age of 95, even though he smoked like he was on fire and drank like he was trying to put it out. And if you think you can understand the issue of climate change by poking your head outside your window, you might want to consider there are huge differences in climate trends around the world. And the entire United States covers only 1.9% of the world's surface area. Likewise, don't let your go-to news source fool you. There are nearly 8 billion people in the world, and the stories chosen by your favorite media outlets may not accurately represent the big picture. As one academic book explains, people like stories. Math and numbers and statistics, not so much. Our preference for stories over numbers means that we can often be convinced of something by a string of stories, even if they aren't representative of the whole. Another great way to be a sucker is to believe that the peer review process used by most scholarly journals ensures studies are sound. This naive notion is exploded by reams of facts and candid statements from people involved in this process. Let's look at a few. The journal Nature published a study that attempted to confirm the findings of 53 prominent peer-reviewed papers about cancer drugs. The scientists were unable to reproduce 89% of these results, despite the fact that when findings could not be reproduced, an attempt was made to contact the original authors and repeat experiments under the author's direction. The Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences published a detailed review of 2,047 biomedical and life science research articles that have been retracted. It found that 21% of retractions were attributable to error, and 67% were due to misconduct. Wait a second, how can this happen? Well, one main reason is explained by Phil Hurst, a publisher for the Royal Society. He wrote that traditional peer review is confidential, with research papers scrutinized by a small number of anonymous experts. Although publishers are vigilant, the secrecy provides the opportunity for fraud. Likewise, Austin L. Hughes, a professor of biological sciences, wrote that the high confidence in funding in peer-reviewed panels should seem misplaced to anyone who has served on these panels and witnessed the extent to which preconceived notions, personal vendettas, and the like can torpedo even the best proposals. Does this sound like the kind of system you want to stake your life on? So, how can you determine a study's credibility? I'm glad you asked. In the upcoming videos, we're going to give you the tools you need. Here are just some of the topics we'll be covering: differentiating correlation from causation, omitted variable bias, included variable bias, randomized control trials, observational studies, laboratory and simulation studies, confidence intervals, cherry picking, and overgeneralization. Don't worry, this is not as hard as it might seem. In fact, the strongest studies are often the most straightforward. So keep it locked to Just Facts Academy. And while you're waiting, Review our previous videos so you can research like a genius.